Good day, good day, good day. In the background was Davy, the cat, making his quick appearance. So you might see him just wandering around. It's all good. If you have cats, you know how they go. They do what they want to do. So, welcome. Good day. Happy Sunday. This is a live Living Life in Joy. A live Living Life in Joy. We've been pre-recording these shows, but today we get to be live, and I'm so excited for that. And one of the reasons why we get to be live is because our Sunday service is virtual today. So I'll share about that and some joy news at the end of the show. But this is Living Life in Joy. This is the very special show that I get to host and be with people who are connected to their yes, who are connected to their yes. So we're in December. It's the holiday season. I'm just going to go with it. We're in the holiday season, and we're about to wrap up what we have known to be 2021 very, very soon. So it's good to see you, Gladys. Good to see you, Love Joy. I'm glad that you're with me live today on Living Life in Joy. So Living Life in Joy is also what I call a sprinkle of Sunday in praise, because we get into it with our special guests, wanting to know what led them to their yes and how they are living their life and what they are living their life in. So enough about that. Let's get go, set, ready. All right. Welcome again. Welcome back to Living Life in Joy. So we have a very special guest today. I am so excited for today's guest. And it is a surprise guest, y'all. I didn't share who today's guest is, Tim. So we're going to find out. And you're going to know if you have been watching Sit with Rev Melissa, even if you've been watching Living Life in Joy, when I share his bio, you will know who this is. All right. So today's guest is a professional creative. He is doing his best to be his own hero. Who is it? Let's get a drum roll. Yes, today's guest is my brother, Sekou Wrights. Sekou Wrights. He is my soul brother. He has been on this journey with me for the last almost 2 years, producing Sit with Rev Melissa and producing Living Life in Joy. And so I am just so grateful to have him with us today. And so without further ado, let's welcome Sekou Wrights.
What's up?
Hey.
I haven't done this live in so long.
I know.
What happens next? What happens next?
I know. We've been recording them. But we're live today, y'all. We are live. So welcome, Sekou.
2 years. Oh my goodness. Wow.
Well, I have to take that back, because we've been doing SIP since April 6, 2020. But we've been on the New Thought Media Network since January of 2021. So we're coming up on our 1-year anniversary of being on New Thought Media Network. However, we've been in the SIPs for a minute. It'll be almost 2 years in April.
It's a lot of time.
Anyway, it's a lot of time. It's a lot of time. Yes. So I just want to thank you, Sekou, for all your support and all of your notes and all of your feedback. It's just been wonderful to be in this space with you. Yes, the dynamic duo. Yes. Thank y'all for all the shout outs. Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
So folks might be wondering, why is Red Melissa having Sekou as her guest? Well, you might not know. It's a lot going on in the Sekou universe. And so I wanted to give him some space here to just share. And so we're gonna act as if, he
Day
doesn't
200.
he
Day
doesn't
200.
know. He
That's all I
doesn't
have time to say.
we're gonna act like he hasn't done this before. How about that?
How about that?
So you'll just play along. You'll just play along. So with Living Life in Joy, Sekou, we like to talk about the won't he do it stories, your testimony, you know, like what has brought you here that you can see now how the dots have lined up, how they are connecting in your life. So what is your won't he do it story?
The story evolves all the time. The won't he do it story evolves all the time. And I'm glad you said what you just said about the dots connecting, because that's the real magic, right? When something happens now and you see how you couldn't possibly have predicted it then, like that's when it really starts to connect. You feel like, okay, I am supposed to be on this path.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's been so many examples now, but the one that stands out to me right now in this moment is I did the Hero Charity Run. Probably those of you that are watching are very familiar with that. I talked about that for about 187 days in a row. So if you aren't familiar, my goal was to run 500 miles to raise $5,000 for 5 nonprofits. That is what ended up being the goal. And then right there at the end, I did an all call for $37. Based on what I was looking at in the back end, I needed $37 to close the gap. And the person that gave that $37 was someone that I interviewed in your stead as a guest host for Living Life in Joy. And this is him right here. This is Judah Bernard. So I was the guest host that day for Living Life in Joy, and he was my guest. And he purchased a bracelet from me during New York Fashion Week, where I was displaying my bracelets for what's called Essence Fashion House. That's Essence Magazine's Fashion Week event.
Mm-hmm.
So it stood out because he was literally the only person that bought a bracelet that didn't work for Essence, right? So he and I connected, and then we stayed in touch, and then I interviewed him for the show, and he was the person that paid the $37 to close the gap. And it just so happens that he himself used to be unhoused. And it was like, look at all that stuff that I could not have possibly predicted.
That's right.
And all that stuff that I could have soured by being disappointed. For example, like I felt a pinch when I didn't sell anything at the Essence House event.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So someone from Essence supported, and he supported. And I started to feel like, the other designers. And I was like, no, I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful to be one of 11 designers chosen to be in this space. And I had to keep pushing myself towards gratitude. But I imagine if I stayed in that sour space, none of those things that I just said would have happened.
That's right.
So you've got to be open to the universe. You have to be grateful for what is happening now. And in living in expectation of what's going to happen down the road that you don't even know about.
That's right.
You don't even know about. Like, that was so full circle. And that just made me feel like, okay. That reminded me of your story of the guy who was out walking on vacation and a payphone rings and he answers the payphone and it's for him. It's like, what?
Yes.
Who's watching me?
Yes.
The universe is watching.
Yes, always. And what you just shared is a demonstration of faith, and it's a demonstration of trust.
Yes. And as you know, if you've been watching my journey of becoming my own hero, I had no idea that I was weak in faith until I began this journey. And there were many times along the journey where I was a little shaky. And the charity run was a perfect way to build the muscle of faith for myself. because there were many times when I was like, let me just get a credit card and close the gap on my own. Let me just get it done. And I had to keep having faith up until the 11th hour that it would be taken care of. And so there was a great exercise in faith. And so what I want to say about that is you often, because I didn't, you often don't know what your weekend until you get out there and start doing something challenging. And then you discover not only what your weekend, but what you're strong in. And once you start doing that, then you can make adjustments on the fly. Like you can adjust and lean more into the thing that you're not so good at and use your strength to support that. So I learned that I can be very committed and dedicated in a way that I did not know I could be. And I also learned that I need to reach for faith. And doing the charity run was an excellent way to work on both of those muscles.
Yes, yes. The unexpected benefits, right? When we say yes, say yes. So you just met a huge milestone because the charity run has, at least the first part of the charity run, because I know there's something going to happen. The first part of the charity run has come to completion, has been very successful, but you're still running.
Yeah, there's been so many phases of this thing, and it has evolved and evolved and evolved. And so in the beginning, it was just, I say just, but there is no just in this scenario. But what it was in the beginning was a way for me to challenge myself physically for my birthday month of June. My goal was to run 30 days, 1 mile a day, 30 miles, 30 days, 30 miles. And here we are many, many days later and many, many miles later. And yeah, the milestone that you just mentioned was my 200th day. 200th day of running every day, a mile a day for over 200 days. It's mind-boggling. I did my run report that day, and I was like, what? 200 days? When my original goal was 30? It's incredible.
Right. Incredible. Yes, I love it. So mentioning the run report for the 200th day, let's show that. Let's share the 200 day run report.
This is what was my 200 day run report. I was a little bit hyped. Here we go.
Today's day 200. I've been running every single day for 200 days. Day 200. Day 200. That's all I have time to say. Today's day 200. I've been running every single day for 200 days. Let's rephrase that. Every single day, at least a mile a day for 200 days in a row, starting on June 1st. What? Yeah, that's all I have time for. I'm about to be late for my own show. So I'll check back later. Maybe there'll be a part 2 of this video. All right, later. Part 2, I'm in Studio B getting ready for the show. But it's fitting that it was raining today for my 200th run. It's fitting that it was raining today because I ran in the rain, and I'll talk more about that later for part 3. Stay tuned for part 3 later. Okay, I just finished the show. You see I got the TV lighting and everything. Just finished the show. And this is part 3 of my run report. Part 3 of my run report is it was raining, and I felt like that was appropriate because it made it harder for me running in the rain. My hoodie is still wet from running in the rain, but I appreciate that because it's easy to run. It's easier, not easy, easier to run inside, but outside in the elements in the rain, it's a little bit harder. There's more things that you have to calculate, like keeping the phone dry, for example. So anyway, it was a good run. I ran 2.22 miles in honor of my 200th day running. So yeah, I'm proud of myself. I made it 200 days. Let's see how much further I could go. So keep doing. Be a hero. Be your own hero. Inspire yourself. Shock yourself. I am shocked that I've made it 200 days. Shocked. 200 days of running every day. I can't believe it myself. So go shock yourself later.
Yes.
Day 200.
Yes. That's so great. Day 200. And so now we're past day 200.
Yeah.
And one of the Congregation of Joy just posted this saying, you must have another mission. That's why you're still running.
Yeah. And it's so funny you say that, Lovejoy, because after day 187, after the quote unquote completion of the charity run portion, it started getting so shaky. It started getting so much harder for me to run. I kept running, but it was real like loosey goosey, like, I'm gonna run a mile. I'm gonna go out at noon. It was just like loose. And one of the reasons for that I've discovered is not having a mission. Like my personal fitness was the original mission, but when it evolved to charity, when it evolved to something beyond myself, it became so much bigger for me in terms of feeling that coming back to running just for fitness has been a little less fulfilling. So yes, I need to get back on mission. And thankfully, a couple of people have heard me say that on the show. And I've now been invited by 2 different people to do 2 different types of charity runs. So there's something percolating. And just the fact that there's stuff percolating got me out and back out there again. Like I'm back on schedule. I'm doing 5Ks again. Like I'm not loosey-goosey anymore. Now I've got local legend status. There's this app that I use called Strava. It keeps track of where you're running. And if you run the same route a certain number of times, it makes you the local legend. So I got 4 different crowns in 3 different cities. So now I'm back on it. But it was just the specter of having a mission that is beyond me to run for that got me reinvigorated. So I appreciate that.
Yes. And so speaking of mission, when we think about mission, it really comes down to that why. What is your why? And what is your why for being your own hero?
What's my why for being my own hero? I think the simplest way to say that is the simplest way to answer that is to say that I discovered that I didn't have it as together as I thought I did. And I think many of us reach that plateau where we've accomplished a certain number of things. We've made a certain amount of money. We've done certain things in life that we feel like, okay, we're good. We're on that plateau. And if you don't question yourself, then you don't discover that plateau is this narrow little ledge and the next part goes up like this. You don't know. And I discovered it quite by accident. I've told this story before, but I was reading a book to understand someone else. And it was on some petty stuff. I was like, let me find out, discover what's up with them. Read this book, right? And the first couple of chapters, I applied all of it to them. And then like chapter 4, I was like, wait, hold on now. This kind of sounds familiar. And so that was part of my awakening to the need to become my own hero, the need to shock myself, as I just said in that run report, the need to impress myself, not anyone else, to work a little harder, to question myself, to not take what I say as gospel, what I say in my mind as gospel, to question my own thinking, question my own thoughts, and reach for a little bit more. And that process has been difficult, but also really rewarding. And one of the ways I think that you're all familiar with that I've done that is in terms of exercise, in terms of running specifically, in terms of trying to do something, doing something that I didn't think that I was capable of doing. And I'll just tell one more story. I started running, right? And I decided to join Black Men Run, which is just a group that I saw on Facebook. And I didn't ask to join, which is what you're supposed to do. I just showed up. I saw where they were going to be. I just showed up. They were like, who's the dude in the police? Showed up all layered up and everything. I didn't understand then. For those of you that don't know, you do not, even when it's cold, you don't want to layer up because you're going to run for long distances. You're going to sweat. You're going to get hot. And then it's going to be a liability having all that stuff on you. I did not know that. I showed up looking like a snowman for my first run when I had to sit down on the steps of a bank and trying to recover. And so my point is just that I didn't quit. It was very difficult. And I felt very embarrassed about my performance, but I didn't quit. And that was a part of me challenging myself, not listening to my voices, not listening to my excuses that say, all right, this isn't for you, but pushing past that. And in the process, attempting to become my own hero.
Yes, yes, yes. And in the attempting to be your own hero, we could see that there are no limitations. There are no limitations, just the limits that we put on ourselves, through our thinking and through, whatever it is, the thinking, it starts with the thinking. What are you thinking?
Yeah, it's so shocking too. Because I've had 2 moments recently that have reframed that for me. So I frequently run at Fisk University, their track. That's my mom's alma mater. And I ran into a Morehouse classmate of mine who works at Fisk now. And he would run 3 miles every morning. And I'd be like, 3 miles? Can't nobody run 3 miles every morning. So when I would run into him on a track, I would literally run a lap with him and then walk until he caught up with me again. Then I'd run another lap and then I'd walk. And that's what I used to do. And now, I did 3.5 miles this morning. It's like nothing to me. I ran to Fisk this morning instead of driving to Fisk and then back. It's just amazing how much you can accomplish if you just don't quit.
Yeah.
If you just don't quit.
Yeah. Consistency is powerful. Consistency is a superpower.
Yes.
It really is. It really is. All right, Sekou, we could do this all morning, but I'm going to move us along to our second segment, the 3 joy questions. So what does joy feel or look like for you?
I'm going to use what you just said. Right now, joy feels like finding my own superpowers because they don't manifest until you're under pressure. Just like the superheroes in the comic books, the powers don't manifest until stuff hits the fan, and then they discover they can do all these things. So that's what it is for me, discovering that I have these superpowers and that I can use them for the good of other people. That's amazing to me.
Yes, yes. In service. Yes, yes. Okay. So I say I'm living life in joy. What are you living life in?
Right now, and this is a reach for me, I'm living life in faith. I'm reaching for that faith because, as I said earlier in the show, watching the way things have woven themselves together has been mind-boggling because I could not have predicted or orchestrated that. So I'm living life in faith that all these things are coming together in a way to manifest something bigger for myself that I can't even predict.
Yeah. Amen. Amen to that. Last question. What is your joy song and why?
So this is going to circle back to the superhero thing. So I don't really have I don't really have songs. Those of you that know me know that I don't really listen to music. It became a huge thing over Thanksgiving. You don't listen to music. My baby cousin's like, what do you do in the car? I was like, all right, youngins. Get your turkey, mind your business. Grown folks like you crazy. So what I do really in terms of joy songs is I listen to motivational speeches that are set to music. So right now, one of my favorites is by Les Brown. And he's talking about what I just said, how your superpowers don't manifest until your back is against the wall, until you put yourself in a position where they can manifest. And that really resonates for me. So right now it's Les Brown with the musical track. And, that's full circle for me since I opened for Les Brown a couple months ago. And so it's like, double excitement that he says it really speaks to me. And this is somebody that I have now connected with out there in the world.
Yes. All right. All right. There y'all have it. There y'all have it. Thank you so much, Sekou, for being my guest today. And still producing the show.
That's right.
That's right. All right. So we're going to wrap up the show with just some joy news real quick. So stay with me today because right after this show at 11:30, we have Sunday in Praise at Rockland CSL. go to rocklandcsl.org, click on the link for Sunday service, and you will be in the Zoom room. We're virtual today, so everything is happening online. We're having a winter solstice celebration. So please join me 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Zoom, and we will also live stream it on our Facebook page. So just go to rocklandcsl.org and you'll have all the information you need. Please join Sekou Monday through Fridays on the Be Your Own Hero show. Also join me Monday through Friday for Sit with Rev Melissa. Be Your Own Hero show is on at 9:45 a.m. Eastern Time, and Sit with Rev Melissa is on at 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time on the New Thought Media Network. So thank you all so much for being with me today. Last announcement, you can register now for the next 30-day mental diet class. So please get the book. It's by Willis Kinnear. The first class is January 4th. It's Tuesday, 7 p.m. Please register. The cost is $55. And just show up. Show up with the book, and we will take it from there. If you want to get your mind right in 2022, be your own hero. How about that, Sekou? In 2022, got to get your thinking right. So please sign up for the show. All right, everybody. That is another episode of Living Life in Joy. I am so grateful to be in this space for you, with you. Please have a wonderful Sunday. I hope to see some of you at Sunday service at Rockland. If not, I will see you tomorrow for Sit with Rev Melissa, 10:30 a.m. Eastern Time. Peace and blessings, peace and justice. We're living life in joy, connected to our yes.